Hey there, sports fans. Today we're diving into some exciting news about one of the brightest stars in women's basketball, Caitlin Clark. But before we get into the juicy details, if you're enjoying our content, help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers so we can keep bringing you the latest in sports news. Now, let's talk about the phenomenal Caitlin Clark and her ambitious plans for the future. You might know her as the Indiana Fever's superstar guard, but Clark's got her eyes set on an even bigger prize, the 2028 Olympics. That's right, we're talking about representing the red, white, and blue on the global stage. You see, Clark recently made headlines when she wasn't selected for the current Team USA lineup, but instead of letting it get her down, she's using it as motivation to push herself even harder. In a recent chat with an Iowa reporter, Clark laid out her game plan for the next 4 years. Here's a part of her interview.
You've lived here your whole life, and you come back now, and some people see you differently because you're this famous person. How is that for you in those situations?
It's definitely different, honestly. Like, this is a place where I grew up. I grew up playing basketball in this building at North High School. Like, I came and tagged around with my older brother who now, works on my foundation and really was one of the main people of putting this whole event together. And I wanted to be just like him and wanted to be a basketball player like him. So for me, it's definitely weird and different, but I just feel like that same little girl that I was when I was here, tagging around however many years ago, 15 years ago, when I first started playing basketball. So for me, like, that's how I've just gone about my life, is continue to carry myself in the same way, because I feel like that's what has honestly got me here.
How has your break been?
It's been great, honestly. I've been enjoying it. It feels like a real summer for me now, so I'm trying to enjoy it the best I can.
How much of the Olympics have you watched, and is that hard at all?
Honestly, I've watched a good amount of it, and I've learned about some sports that I didn't even know existed. I haven't only watched basketball, but I watched a good amount of the basketball, and it's fun. International basketball is just so much different than, especially the college game, but even the WNBA game or the NBA game. But I think it just gives you something to work for and something to achieve, and I don't think people always realize how fast the Olympics come up. Like, it's a 4-year process of being able to get prepared for them, and I think hopefully that's my goal, to be there in the next 4 years, and it just gives you something to work hard for.
We're reminded how great the Olympic team is, and you were part of the all-star team that beat the Olympic team. What was that like?
It was fun, honestly. That whole all-star experience, obviously, is my first time, so I didn't really know what to expect. And going down there, my biggest goal was just to have fun. I think that's the main reason we won, is just because we were having so much fun playing with one another. It was kind of just like going out there and playing pickup as a young kid. Like, we didn't have any plays, like we didn't have a scouting report. Like, you're just going out there and having fun and playing basketball like you know how to. And I think that's honestly the reason we won.
How do you feel about the Fever coming down to the stretch run?
I feel good. Obviously, we're in playoff contention. We're in position to have a playoff spot, and that's our goal. We haven't been there since 2016. So these last 15 games, I think it is 16 games, it's going to be really important for us. And we've been having practice. It's good that we can have a lot of our team together over this Olympic break. Obviously, we're only missing one player to the Olympics. So I think it's going to be huge. It's going to be fun, obviously competing for that couple of those last spots to get into the playoffs.
And last thing, what would you like people to know about the Caitlin Clark Foundation and what you see for the future?
Oh gosh, I think it just shows how much this community means to me. Being able to give back is something that I think my parents and my family was always something that was super important for us. And our pillars are kind of established on education, sport, and nutrition, and those are 3 pillars that I thought were very important in my life, coming up all throughout high school, all throughout middle school, even into college, and allowed me a lot of opportunity to be able to do what I wanted to do and achieve the dreams that I did achieve. So just doing something as simple as this and being able to come back here and give this to these kids and these families is really important, and hopefully it starts their academic year off right.
I think it just gives you something to work for and something to achieve, she said, referring to her Olympic dreams. It's a 4-year process of being able to get prepared for them. I think, hopefully, that's my goal, to be there in the next 4 years. It just gives you something to work hard for. Now, that's the kind of attitude that separates the good from the great. Clark's not dwelling on what could have been. She's focused on what's coming next. And let me tell you, the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles is shaping up to be one hell of a showdown. Imagine it, Caitlin Clark playing for Olympic gold on home soil, the crowd going wild as she sinks those signature long-range threes. It's the stuff dreams are made of, and Clark is determined to turn that dream into reality. But let's rewind a bit and talk about why this is such a big deal. For those who might not be familiar with Clark's journey, she's been making waves since her college days at Iowa. Her transition to the WNBA with the Indiana Fever has been nothing short of spectacular. She's got the kind of court vision that makes you wonder if she's got eyes in the back of her head and a shooting range that'd make Stephen Curry proud. What's really impressive about Clark, though, isn't just her skill on the court. It's her mentality off it. When asked about not making the current Olympic team, she didn't sulk or complain. Instead, she said that while it would have been cool to play, she wasn't bummed about it. That's the kind of maturity and perspective you want to see in a young athlete. But make no mistake, Clark's not content with just being a great WNBA player. She's got that hunger, that drive to be the best. And in her mind, being the best means wearing those USA colors and competing against the world's elite. Now, some might say, Noah, isn't it a bit early to be talking about the 2028 Olympics? We've got a whole WNBA season ahead of us. And you'd be right to ask that. But here's the thing. Great athletes, true champions, they're always thinking ahead. They're always setting new goals, pushing their limits. And that's exactly what Clark is doing. She's not just focused on the next game or the next season. She's looking 4 years down the line, picturing herself on that Olympic podium. And let me tell you, that kind of long-term vision, that's what separates the good from the legendary. But let's talk about the challenges ahead. Making the Olympic team isn't a walk in the park, especially for Team USA in women's basketball. We're talking about a squad that's won 7 consecutive gold medals. The competition for those roster spots is fierce, with some of the best ballers in the world vying for a chance to represent their country. Clark knows this. She's under no illusions about the work it'll take to earn her spot. But that's the thing about Clark. She thrives on challenges. She's the kind of player who sees obstacles as opportunities. Getting passed over for the current team? That's just fuel for her fire. And let's not forget the potential storylines if Clark does make that 2028 team. Imagine the narratives. The player who was snubbed in 2024 coming back with a vengeance in 2028. The young star who used disappointment as motivation to reach new heights. It's the kind of story sports fans live for, and Clark is writing it in real time. But here's the really exciting part. We get to watch this journey unfold. Over the next 4 years, we'll see Clark continue to develop her game, to push her limits, to become an even more dominant force in the WNBA. And every step of the way, we'll know that in the back of her mind, she's got her sights set on that Olympic dream. It's not just about personal glory for Clark, though. She understands the impact she can have on the next generation of ballers. By setting these lofty goals and working tirelessly to achieve them, she's inspiring countless young athletes to dream big and work hard. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Noah, you're getting a bit ahead of yourself here. A lot can happen in 4 years. And you're absolutely right. The road to the Olympics is long and unpredictable. Injuries, changes in form, new rising stars, all of these factors could come into play. But that's the beauty of sports, isn't it? The uncertainty, the drama, the potential for incredible stories of triumph against the odds. And let me tell you, if there's one player I'd bet on to overcome whatever obstacles come her way, it's Caitlin Clark. Just look at her track record. She's been breaking records and defying expectations since her college days. Her transition to the pros? Smooth as butter. She's got the skills, she's got the mindset, and now she's got a clear goal to work towards. And let's not forget the potential impact on women's basketball as a whole. Clark is already one of the most exciting players to watch in the WNBA. Imagine the buzz if she makes that Olympic team. We're talking about potentially taking the popularity of women's basketball to new heights. But here's the thing, Clark isn't getting ahead of herself. She knows that the path to the Olympics starts now, with every practice, every game, every season. She's not resting on her laurels or assuming she'll be handed a spot on the team. No, she's ready to earn it, day by day, game by game. And that's what makes this story so compelling. It's not just about the end goal, it's about the journey. It's about watching a young star push herself to new limits, striving to be better today than she was yesterday. It's about the grit, the determination, the sheer will to succeed. So, what can we expect from Caitlin Clark over the next 4 years? If I had to guess, I'd say we're in for some spectacular basketball. We're likely to see her continue to refine her already impressive skills. Maybe we'll see her extend her shooting range even further, if that's even possible. Perhaps we'll see her take on an even bigger leadership role with the Fever. One thing's for sure, Clark's not going to let up. She's got that competitive fire, that drive to be the best. And now, with this Olympic goal in her sights, she's got even more motivation to push herself to new heights. But here's a thought. What if Clark doesn't make the 2028 team? What if, despite all her hard work and dedication, she falls short of her Olympic dream? Well, knowing Clark, even that wouldn't be the end of the story. She'd likely use it as motivation to work even harder, to prove the doubters wrong once again. That's the thing about true champions. They don't let setbacks define them. They use them as fuel, as lessons, as stepping stones to greater achievements. And Clark has already shown that she has that champion's mentality. So, as we look ahead to the next 4 years, one thing's clear. The Caitlin Clark story is far from over. Whether she makes that 2028 Olympic team or not, we're in for some exciting basketball. We're going to see a young star continue to grow, to evolve, to push the boundaries of what's possible on the basketball court. And isn't that why we love sports? For the drama, the excitement, the inspiration? Caitlin Clark is giving us all of that and more. She's showing us what it means to dream big, to work hard, to never give up on your goals. So here's to Caitlin Clark and her Olympic dreams. Here's to the journey ahead, to the highs and lows, to the triumphs and challenges. And most of all, here's to the beautiful game of basketball, which continues to give us stories like this to cheer for. As we wrap up, let's remember that while the Olympics might be Clark's ultimate goal, there's plenty of exciting basketball to watch in the meantime. So keep your eyes on the Indiana Fever, folks. Something tells me we're in for quite a show. And who knows, maybe in 4 years' time we'll be sitting here talking about Caitlin Clark's road to Olympic gold. But whatever happens, one thing's for sure. It's going to be one hell of a ride. So buckle up, basketball fans. The Caitlin Clark story is just getting started.